Dennis the Menace ain't got shit on these kids. Yo, what's up, guys? Abe here with a Prank Kids deck profile that I've been wanting to do for a while. Prank Kids always comes in and out of the meta just because they have some very floaty effects, I should say. And then they have like one card combos and all this stuff. But yeah, it's just a really fun deck, very fusion based and link based. Well, either or, basically. But it's nonetheless a fun deck to play. I would say the skill level probably on this is a little high just because it does. There's a lot of things, a lot of effects that you're gonna be resolving and stuff, and you gotta just make sure you keep track of stuff and things like that. So, but other than that, this deck also does. I would say has a high ceiling, especially now with the new Link that has come out in Phantom Rage, the Meow Mew or whatever it's called. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So for the Prank Kids monsters, obviously we're gonna be playing all four and all at three. So we're gonna start off with the triple Prank Kids Fansies. This just helps out with, well, we play one for one because you want to get out from the deck because as fast as possible, and then you can go into either Link or Fusion plays. And it's just a level, like I said, it's a level 1, so it helps out with that stuff. And then probably one of the more important ones is the Dropsies. It's a level 2 Aqua, so that means you can summon Toad with it really easily. In case like you don't have your other plays, it's pretty broken that you can summon Toad with this card. But yeah, but then that you could usually use them to float with to your other stuff. And then obviously for the fire, we play triple Lampsies. You're gonna need the wind, the water, and the fire, and most importantly for your battling Butler, because you need those exact 3 Prankers. Not just any 3 Prankers monsters. It has to be exactly 1 Lampsies, 1 Dropsies, 1 Fansies. But yeah, they all have pretty neat effects. You know, Fansies, you know, if it's sent to the graveyard for a Link or Fusion material, you can send a Prank Kids card, and then you summon out another one. Dropsies, you gain 1,000, and you summon another one from the deck, not itself. And then Lampsies, you get to burn, so maybe that could help out in time. Maybe not, depending. And then for the last one, which was the newer one that came out in Soul Fusion as a promo, was the Prank Kids Roxy. This one's a level 4 rock. And then this one, if it's sent to graveyard for the Link, for the material of Fusion or Link, you banish a card from your hand and you draw a card. So it just helps out just to maybe get rid of like maybe some kind of, you know, card you don't need in your hand at that moment, and it lets you just draw more. For the hand traps, I don't play too many because I wanted to keep it as pure and just, you know, just make it more casual, fun style for the deck. Obviously, if you're playing more competitive, I would suggest more hand traps and things like that. And then probably, obviously, some of your ratios for cards you might want to change. But for the only hand traps I'm running is triple Nibiru, because probably your opponent wouldn't, like, let's say you're going game 2 and 3, your opponent's not going to want you to go first, so you don't build your board and stuff. So I just like Nibiru just because it can clear out boards. So that's probably the one hand trap we play in the deck, and then I do play triple impermanence, but that's the only stop cards we're going to be playing. But we'll get there when we get there. And now we go on to the spells. We play triple place. Now when I was researching for the deck, a lot of people actually only want to play this at 2 because for some reason you either always draw it or you always draw 2 of. And obviously, since you can only activate 1 per turn, it's very, you know, redundant that you have 2. So obviously it's not going to do anything for you. But I just still like 3 because you get to search it. You get to search whatever you need if you need it. And also it helps with chain blocking, so that way you can get your Prank Kids monsters when they're used as material. You get to, you know, like I said, chain block with its effects whenever you link your Fusion. So that's something very important you gotta know about Prank Kids, is that it helps. You can chain block, and it just helps it just makes the deck more like busted, I guess you can say. For the others, the fields we play in the deck, we play double double fusion recycling plant. The only reason I play 2 is because I cut down poly to 2, and also you do kind of want to see it because we do play triple pandemonium and then 2 polys. Well, we'll get there when we get there, but the thing is also with this, you can only search poly. I think you can only search poly. You can't search either the new greater polymerization or any other like polymerization spell, because I think it says 1 out of 1 polymerization from your deck or graveyard to your hand, so it's specifically that poly. So yeah, so I just play 2 also because since you can get it from your grave. So if let's say you did hard draw a polymerization and then you get to search this afterwards or whatever, you can at least get it back from your grave. So that's why I play 2. But obviously, if you're probably playing this more competitive, I would maybe cut this down to 1. But I just like playing 2 just because it just gives you options, especially because for grind game. It's more for the grind game. For the next card we play is the triple Prank Kids Pandemonium. This card's good because it's a quick play, and it can even help end games if you're at that point in the duel. So yeah, it's just a really good card. Like I said, you can go back between 2 and 3. I just like playing 3 just because you do want to see it as much. You want to see it as much as possible. Obviously, we do play like poly and other stuff, but this is the main card you want to fuse your Prank Kids monsters. So that's why I played triple. For the next card, we play double Prank Kids Pranks. Also with this card, you can either go back to 2 or 3 with this. I just like playing 2 because as long as you're able to recur a couple times, you can get back all your stuff in your deck in probably a matter of 2 turns. So it does suck that you have to wait till the end phase for this, but it probably just makes it a little more balanced compared to a lot of other cards. But yeah, so usually you want to wait to activate this till like you're about to go into your end phase. That way, hopefully your opponent doesn't get rid of it beforehand. But yeah, other than that, it's still a really good card. And if you really, really need to, you can use it to summon the token. So I guess if that ever comes in handy for you. But yeah, Prank Kids Pranks, just a good card to recycle your stuff back. Now we go on to the spells, the fusion spells that we play in the deck besides Pandemonium. Double poly. I do see a lot of profiles where they do play 3. I just like playing 2 just because you're able to recur it back with the fusion recycling plant, especially because for like Prank Kids Place, once you use it once, I mean, you don't like you usually don't want to keep it on the field, so usually you want to have fusion recycling plant like right after that if you can, just so you can start searching out the poly and things like that, and then maybe you like draw another Prank Kids Place and you activate that, keep searching. So you just kind of want to continue that cycle is maybe what I'm trying to say. But that's why I only play 2, just because you can, with the fusion recycling plant, you can get it back from deck or graveyard. So that's why I play 2, just because if you don't want to search it from the deck, or let's say you already searched it from the deck, both of them, you can at least get it back from your grave. So that's why I only play 2. For the new card that we're playing, that I'm trying out, we're playing 1 Greater Polymerization. So this just came out in the Blazing Vortex. So this is if you use 3 monsters. So usually you would probably use this for your Battling Butler. And then it gains these effects where it says it cannot be destroyed by card effects, and if it detects a defense position monster, you do piercing. So it just gives a little extra oomph to the Battling Butler. It already has a good effect, especially now with the Meow Moo and everything, where it doesn't have to treat with itself. But the fact that it gains these effects is just great, because if you do summon out your Battling Butler, you're probably going to want to get rid of it as soon as possible. So at least it gives it some kind of protection as well. And then for the last one, I'm still playing the Thunder Dragon Fusion. So usually, obviously, we're going to be summoning our Battling Butler with this. I just still have it in the deck just because you can recycle back your Prank Kid stuff, especially if you have to banish them for some reason. Your opponent banishes them. You don't want to banish your Prank Kids cards, or at least your monsters, like your little baby Prank Kids. So that's why I still play this, just so we can put that stuff back, and then we can summon out of Battling Butler. So that's why I still like playing this deck. Obviously, if you watch a lot of more recent ones, people don't play this card anymore. like they used to at first, or maybe like towards after the inception of the Prank Kids deck. But I just don't like playing it just because it recurs, and also if you're at that point where you don't have any more resources, this can at least get you to a Fansies. Obviously you have to wait a turn, but at least it can get you to a Fansies if you really need a Prank Kids monster. You need to search for a Prank Kids monster, so that's why you still play it, just because it has a lot of versatility. And now we go on to the 1-ups. There's gonna be a lot of 1-ups, so we play the terraforming, search out your place or your recycling plant, whatever you need at the time. One Succession, we're gonna be selling a lot of Link monsters, or at least a lot of Link 2s with point down, so Succession just really helps with that. Monster Reborn, because you can summon out anything you need. One Feather Duster, because we don't want no back row. One 1-for-1, because Fansies is a level 1. Call by the Grave, to make your plays go off. And then Instant Fusion, because Rocket Ride is a level 5, and you can abuse his effect really easily. So that's why we play Instant Fusion. And yeah, but really with a lot of these 1-ups, it's just, like I said, they're just power spells. It just helps you either get there, or it helps you extend if you really need to beat your opponent up at that point. So that's why you play all those. And now we go on to the traps. I just play one plan just because it helps. Usually you would probably want to play this as a discard fodder. Really don't use it as much for its on-field effect, because this can put your Prank Kid stuff back and can make one of your opponent's monsters lose attack. And even if your Prank Kid monster does die after that battle, like if you don't have too many Prank Kids in the grave, it at least helps to put them back. So that's why I just play the one plan. Like I said, just because it's more for discard fodder. Excuse me. And then for the last trap, we play triple impermanence. I still like impermanence, even though I've seen it lately has been kind of falling out of favor with a lot of decks profile nowadays. But I think for this deck it helps. You want to negate monster effects. Obviously, if you don't have impermanence, you can always add Baylor, Ash, Bell. I've seen Bell being used a lot lately. Skullmeister even. Crow, obviously. But for this deck, I just like impermanence because, like I said, if your opponent doesn't want you to go first, impermanence is a good card to have while you're just waiting for your opponent to do their play, and then you can interrupt them with impermanence. But yeah. Alright guys, now we go on to the extra deck. So we're going to start off with the fusions. We played double Rocket Ride. Rocket Ride is really great because it can bring back stuff and whatnot. And yeah, there's not really much to say about this card. Just a really good card to go into, and then, like I said, just recur your stuff if you need to. The fact that it's an instant fusion target is really broken. But yeah, we just play a double ride. If you really want to max out on 3, you can, but I think 2 is enough. For the last few, cards we play, last fusions I should say, one Weather Washer. You don't really go into this too much unless you're trying to go for game or something. So that's why I just play the 1, because you want to make space for the other links, especially. But yeah, other than that, Washer's still a good card because it still recurs even after it dies or whatever, or for its effect. But yeah, just one Washer because you don't really need more than that. Rocket Ride is the one you want it to, at least. And then for the last one, we play one Battle Butler. I would, maybe if you don't have access to certain cards, you can probably play this at 2 if you want, because usually you want to go into Battle Butler. We don't play the Roaring Rooster because you don't really need it as much. We already play Feather Duster, and then also the Roaring Rooster. It can eat up a lot of your monsters if you don't use 2 Link 2s. But yeah, the Battle Butler is usually the one you go into. If you want to play this at 2, you can. At first, I did have it at 2, but then I'm like, nah, I gotta make space for other stuff. So that's why we played at 1. But still, I would always say if maybe you don't have access to other extra deck cards, you can play this at 2 because he's still a really good monster. And then for the 1 Xyz we play in the deck, play 1 Toad because why not? Dropsies is a level 2 Aqua, and Toad, that's what the materials you need for Toad, so that's why you play Toad, and also can give you back your Dropsies when it dies. And then now we go on to the links. We play double Prank Kids Meow Meow Moo. I would suggest maybe playing this at 3 I only have 2. That's why you only see 2 in the deck. But it's a good card because it's a link 1. So whatever prank kid you have in your hand, fansies, dropsies, whatever it is, you link into this and then you just go from there. So that's why it's really broken that they have a link 1, because all the dropsies and all them, if it's used for a link or fusion, you get to summon out another one from the deck, and then it just kind of snowballs from there. So yeah, so if you have 3, I would suggest playing 3, but 2 is enough if you want to get like through everything. For the link 2s, you're gonna play Double Do, Doodle Do, whatever you call it. This card's good because it adds your spells and traps, and also you can recur your stuff back with this. So that's why you play only 2. Also 2 Bow Wow Barks. Also, like with this is more for like a not OTK, but like, you know, pump up your monsters with this. But also his effect's also really good too. You tribute him during your opponent's turn, and he gets to add 2 back. So that's why we only play the Doodle Doo and the Bow Wow Bark at 2, just because it has really good recursion effects. And now we go into the generic stuff. Because you can link a lot with this deck, we're just playing just some general generic links. We got 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn if you really need to go into these. They're there for you, and then obviously the access code because it's synonymous with those cards. And then for the last card, 1 Boral Sword because it ends games, and it's just a really annoying card. But that is it for the deck profile, you guys. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it. And yeah, make sure you guys check out our social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And thanks for watching. Have a good one.